My AC isn't calculating properly.
All right, we'll take a look at that. 1 sec.
Yeah, I was just messing around with it, like to see if I could fix it because it's only giving me a +3 ability modifier, but I have an 18.
Okay. Let me take a look here.
Is limited by your armor you're wearing?
That could be.
Oh, that might be. No, I have a hide. Hide should give me +4, right?
All right, so you have a max dex bonus of 4. You're wearing hide. AC of 4 from that. You are at your medium load, so you're taking a -3 check penalty.
Yeah, that's fine, but
So-
that shouldn't affect my.
It would affect your AC.
It would?
Yes, you take a penalty for having for being encumbered.
Instead of -3?
Yeah. So, for example, watch this. If we cut off your coins, that still doesn't drop you below your.
Yeah, I'm like just above it. I can lose some stuff and go down. That's not an issue.
What are you carrying that's so heavy?
Not a whole lot. My armor is
just across
25
a bunch of little
pounds.
items. Yeah. All right. Well, you can deal with that. In the meantime, how is everybody doing tonight? As I totally boned the intro because Ryan started talking about his AC. I had a brand new intro set up too.
You're welcome.
Thanks. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Anybody doing bad?
No, I'm doing pretty good.
Doing all right. There we go. Fixed it. Okay, cool.
So, when we left off, we had the 5 of you, or the 4 of you, deciding that you were going to embark on another mission. I'm assuming you guys chose to take the night resting in the camp before agreeing to your next mission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, when you make your way back to see Tinelli, to let him know you are definitely interested in going back out there and getting a few more things accomplished and making a little bit more coin, Tinelli is very excited to hear that. He informs you that because of the group that you previously were filling in for still being out of service, they'd like to know if the 4 of you would be interested in taking over another one of their previous responsibilities.
New leader, what do you think?
This is in regards to the city?
This is in regard to a small town to the north.
Is this along the way to the main objectives we were dealing with? The main objectives being either getting that city under control or dealing with the mine?
If you'd like to deal with that right now on your spare time, then that's fine. You don't necessarily have to accept one of our missions. You can do this on your own. But this is what we've got coming up, and it's a fairly important task that needs to be taken care of. We could send another crew, but we feel most confident that the 4 of you plus a new recruit we've got on hand. Well, not really new, but somebody who's recently lost the rest of their fold would be best suited to take care of.
Okay, sure. It can potentially give us a good trial run as a new group. With a new structure, I guess.
Excellent. The town you'll be heading to is the town of Lukil. It is a dwarven and gnomish town to the far north, west of here. He will mark that down on your map, since you happen to have a map. Let me bring it into focus here, if I can grab it. There we go. You guys should now be able to see Lukil there.
Oh, it's a port town?
It is a port town.
Interesting.
It shouldn't be a far journey for you guys, and there haven't been too many issues up there until recently. So another reason that we have some interest in dispatching at least one of you out there is, Arius, perhaps you remember the village of Mukmak, or the town of Mukmak?
Yes.
The creatures that you saw out there, you referenced were like dogs or wolf-like, right? And that Drustin had, and that you had found one of the previous members, Drustin, who'd had some kind of wolven appearances to him.
That's right.
Lukil is complaining now that they're having similar issues with other animals and people who have characteristics of animals assaulting trade caravans they've been trying to have leave from time to time. We have reason to believe this might be some of the same activity.
Not to sound too quote-unquote scared, but the animalistic humanoid is what killed our last leader. Is this the same vein of problem we're looking at?
No, what we've been hearing from the merchants that have managed to survive is some badger-like people, some bug-like people, and a lot of birds.
No lions then.
No lions. I don't think we'd dispatch you if we had rumors of lions in that area quite yet. We would probably wait and have one of our larger groups go take a look at things.
Okay. Doesn't seem to be a problem.
Good. Well, then I guess it is about time I introduce you to your newest member. I'll have someone fetch him. Alright, so Zeke. You are... Let's see what you dealt with before you got back to town.
Ooh, mummy rot like Ryan's dude.
Hell yeah, we could be mummy rot brothers.
We'll see.
Oh, is
The
that
rest of the
not
party?
Was that not voluntary to have the mummy rot?
No,
it wasn't.
it is randomly
I
rolled.
thought that was some sort of mandatory or some sort of voluntary thing you did just to be like hipster. Like, yo, I got mummy rot. What do you got, bro?
Alright, so... Yeah, Tom, your crew was mauled to fuck by lions.
Goddamn lions.
The only reason you managed to escape was because you were, you basically managed to stick your ground long enough that another crew of military soldiers came along and managed to sweep up the remains of the lions, but you came back in horrible disrepair. Like, you were like heavily injured. You were basically on the verge of death had they not have scooped you up when they did and got you out of there. Your mission was a total failure. You guys hadn't even made it to your destination at that point, which coincidentally is the same destination that they want you to head to this time. They bring you in.
Lied.
They bring you in to meet the rest of the group that you're going to be traveling with. Go ahead and describe yourself to the rest of the group.
Alright, he's larger than your average human, has olive skin tone, of course dark brown hair, reddish brown eyes. Looks like he has possible orc ancestry, and there's a tattoo of a large shadowy beast on his back.
Excellent.
Huh.
This is Zeke. I hope he serves your group well. He's joined us recently and has been of quite honorable service so far. We appreciate what you've done for us, Zeke, and we're sorry you had to lose your team.
Oh, and I'm also carrying a Bardash for my weapon.
Do you have any questions before you head out?
None for me.
Was I there when they described the mission?
You know what the mission is. So you were, because your previous team was on their way to Lukill to complete the same mission, you're already aware of the mission. You know that you're supposed to go there, you're supposed to deal with whatever's been assaulting the caravans that are trying to leave, and collect the rent from there. Or the taxes from there. The rent. Yeah, the rent. Y'all got the rent?
Can we get... okay, yeah. I was going to ask what day it was.
Yeah, it is the 20th. That's part of what the intro is supposed to do, is the intro allows me to announce what day it is as we start. But when somebody's talking about how they can't math out their AC correctly...
It's not my fault that it was doing weird math things.
Lies.
That shirt was just too heavy for me.
Alright, so... Yeah, so are there any questions for Tonelli before you embark?
I'll raise an issue with them. For the taxes for Mukmak, when are those due again?
Your taxes for Mukmak are due on the 11th of Larsis.
Okay.
So you have plenty of time.
Speaking of which, did we ever discuss what actually was going on with Mukmak, since 4 of the 5 party members have no idea what's happening there?
I said briefly last session that I filled you guys in on what Mukmak was.
Okay. I couldn't remember if we actually went over it or not.
I didn't like RP telling you, but...
Now I just need to kill Arius, and then no one will remember
No.
Mukmak.
Well, someone needs to remember the boom boom juice.
Ooh, boom boom juice. Sounds delicious.
We're all getting that when we go there. No.
Perfect.
Alright, Tonelli, that does it for me. If anyone else is good, we'll follow our new leader.
Excellent. Mal, you understand that what to do here?
Yeah. Are there any stipulations on the operation, or just...
We don't have time constraints on this specific operation. As long as you're back here with enough time to return to Mukmak, that is what is most important. We're not sure the severity of this issue or what the greater issue might be. We're not necessarily asking you to track down the greater issue. Just eliminate the problems that have been plaguing the merchants. But if you happen to get any leads on the larger issue, please return them to us at once. It's if there is some sort of organized group that is working to create problems there, though, it is very likely in your best interest not to engage them, as they may be quite a more substantial threat than the 5 of you may be capable of handling.
Understood.
Excellent. Then you're dismissed if there's nothing more.
Alright, squad, let's roll out.
Alright. In camp, is there anything that you want to grab? So Mal, with your new position, you would have been informed of this. You have a tent that you guys actually lost. That was basically checked out by your previous party leader. There was a large tent, which now you guys do not have if you're going to rest over some time. They consider, because he passed away, that the responsibility for the tent was on him, and they will not pass the responsibility on to the new leader. But you are allowed to check something out, but it has lost your group reputation, so you have not improved in terms of what can be checked out. But there are items that, as a group, you can choose to check out for the purposes of traveling. Mostly mundane stuff until you get to much higher levels. So right now, if you wanted, there is a large tent that you could check out. There are like a handful of like low-level weapon or like non-magical mundane weapons that you could check out if you needed to like arm up the group with something more specific other than what they already have as their primary weapon. There's a few other like miscellaneous things, but most of it is for long travel, not necessarily for short travel.
I mean, I guess it's useful to have a tent. Wouldn't necessarily use it myself, but tents. So just this regular tent from the attributes?
Yeah, you can take a large tent.
Large tent.
Yeah.
As he's looking for money to buy this or rent this thing out, I'll just turn to Cassius. Cassius, I think you mentioned you reclaimed the party fund before.
Yeah. They gave me this. This is a sack of his money that he had on him, which I don't know exactly how much is in there, and then miscellaneous papers.
Right into the Discord.
Yeah, I don't know where the party fund was at. So
it's on my computer in a text document.
What I'm gonna do is I am gonna borrow at least one thing from that other game Koibu was doing, which is to have another character be the sheet that runs the loot, and then whoever is managing the party fund will manage that sheet.
All right. I added a tent to my inventory.
Excellent.
All right.
Just type it into the not put it not in the Discord, but put it in the chat for Roll20, please.
But yeah, I've got his money and a few miscellaneous things with writing on them, such as the map that we got. I don't know what you want to do about it all.
Perhaps the new party leader falls under his jurisdiction.
Seems like.
Oh, geez, that's a lot. Alright, let me go ahead and... Alright, so who is going to handle the party loot?
Unless, Jonicus delegates it to someone, or we offer it to him.
Yeah, I'm pretty meticulous with organizing. If I can keep a lot of stuff organized if I have to.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Then you should now find yourself in possession of the party loot sheet. You know,
as well as the illegal dagger of poison.
Yeah, you would not have the crossbows, though, in that bag, because they would not fit. Nor would you have the wand. So those two things are going to be gone from that, because they would not have fit in the bag.
So basically everything on this, I should populate everything that Zeke just listed onto this sheet.
Yep.
Is that right? Okay. Cool.
Excellent. Alright, so... Go ahead.
Maldronicus is doing silent studying for the next 5 minutes of his books.
Okay.
AKA, I'm writing all this shit down.
Alright, so one additional thing that I wanted to bring up in-game, as opposed to outside of game, is I do want you guys to periodically be announcing spells that you have each day. It is a useful thing to do, and it basically makes sure we know what your spells are. You don't necessarily have to do it every day, but you should come up with like what your regular in-town and out-of-town spell lists are, and then have them mapped out. I'm not expecting them for today, but I will expect at least some rudimentary level of that for next session, based just the spells that you're going to memorize for that specific day. And if you change them, you'll notify me of what you're changing in the chat for the for Roll20.
This is obviously not applicable to spontaneous casters, right?
Yeah, because spontaneous casters typically don't memorize for the day. So
sure. Okay.
I can also do it just a little bit, just because I haven't even really done it ever.
Yeah, but it's not important right now. We will deal with it for next session.
Are we about to head out? Because I want to do something before we head out of the tent.
Certainly. What do you want to take care of?
I wanted to look just general like small bits and bobs that they have for. They said they won't sell us stuff, right? Because we're low ranking, or
that's
there, like,
correct.
Minor stuff we can. Okay. What like minor items are rentable?
So one item in particular is a compass.
Okay.
They do have, at a slightly higher level, they do have a Wayfinder that would be available.
Right, I remember this. Okay.
They have some masterwork weapons on hand, mostly masterwork swords, some masterwork armors on hand.
I'm looking for small bits and bobs, so a compass and maybe something else, like anything.
I've got a
small
Wayfinder.
gadgety.
So the best you're going to really find here is like a compass and perhaps a local area map.
Okay, I will rent both those. How much do these cost?
They won't let you rent a map. You can buy a map in that case, but the party rents items. Individuals aren't allowed to rent items.
Okay, how much to buy the map?
The map. Let's see what a map.
And you said I can't buy the compass?
No, you
Okay.
you cannot buy the compass. No, they only have a limited number of compasses, and so they only allow them for rental.
They only rent to the party?
They will only rent to the party.
So I can't go up and say, I'm part of this party, I want to rent a compass?
They'll basically you have a specific writ as part of your leadership role, and you have to submit that writ to get to exchange it for that specific item.
Okay. Alright, just give me the map.
Yep. 1 sec.
I've got this
so a map-
battered up Wayfinder.
A map of the local area they'll sell for about 25 gold.
Okay. I will buy one.
Hey, Steve,
Yes.
whenever we're at the military camp, can we assume that there's some sort of currency exchange where we can swap out whatever for whatever at the appropriate rates?
To some degree, yes. The military will allow you to do exchanges of coin, and they will not charge you for those exchanges of coin.
Okay, so can it be safe to assume, since we're leaving town, that I can switch all these currencies into the most reduced format?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
When I purchase this map, what does it come in? Do they just give me a map, or can I ask for like a box or something, or like a container for something?
You're just given a map. If you want, you can buy a scroll case to go along with it.
How about any boxes? You got any boxes lying around I can throw this in?
If you
Or
want
a big bag. How about a bag? What are ancient bags?
they'll give you a bag if you just want a bag.
Rucksack?
Yeah, if you just
Yeah,
want a
give me
sack
a
of something,
sack.
a sack for something. There you go. You got
Thank
a
you.
sack. I will give you the updated map shortly. I have not finished the updated map since no one talked about it. I didn't add in the local towns that you can see on the map. But you do know that there are 3 other towns in the nearby area. There's the one that your character had visited to the northeast up here. There is another town out to the east here, and there is one further town to the south here.
Am I supposed to be seeing pings right
Yeah,
now?
are you not seeing ping? Oh, I'm on the GM layer. That's great. Good job, me. So the one up here,
Right.
one out here, and then one down south here. And your map basically encompasses this area. So it's
Okay, and
nice.
that's cool.
It's nice and zoomed in, and
And that map I just bought has the same locations on it, or
it does. You can
Okay.
see you can see that Muckmack has been like newly added. The writing is clearly in somebody else's handwriting. You can see Lukill at the top, and the other 3 towns, which I do not currently have the names for, but have lots of details about. And you'll see those shortly. Well, you'll see those before next session.
Okay.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to pick up before we go?
I'm assuming they have like food and drink here.
Yeah, you guys can have eaten breakfast before you leave. Everybody might want to check rations just to be safe. But
Yeah, stock
Lukill
up.
is about a full day's journey.
All right.
Anybody have any rations I can borrow? I don't have any currency.
Yes. I will hand you 2
What's it?
rations. Is that fine for now? I only have 5. Or I'll buy you some if you want. I'll buy you 5 rations. Each ration is what? 5 silver?
5 silver.
Yeah.
5 silver. Okay.
So one last thing of note, by the way, there was some problems with my map sizing in terms of pixelation. I've discovered that when you change from certain modes to certain modes, it will reset some of your pixel sizing. So you'll actually notice a few destinations are a little further than before. Like Kazarim is now slightly further than it was before. Same with Luke Hill. And I'm actually now worried because some of this math seems wrong. Let me double check my secondary map I started using.
So just for the record, I bought you 5 rations.
No, it looks like
and I
there's still
took off
thank
the
you there, I
silver.
think. No, it's still a little off. I'll have to do some more adjustments, but still. Getting to Luke Hill is about a day's journey. It'll take roughly 16 hours, I think. So yeah.
So as are we heading out the gates now?
Yeah. Well, there's not really gates. The camp is kind of
Or
open,
the camp,
open area, but yes.
So as we're heading out, I will throw this sack out of my bag, I guess, that I have the map in and some other items in. And I'll pull out the map and this other item. There's no description for it, but I assume it's a box or something.
Yeah, it's a box.
It's a box. So I put the map on top of the box, and I go to Madronicus and I say, Madronicus, I purchased a gift for you for becoming the leader and taking on this responsibility. I took it out of my own funds. It's a map of the town and some random stuff I found in the shop there. And I hand him this box with the map, and I go to hand it to him.
So it's like super awkward. He like has basically never received a gift in his life other than whips like the back of the face. So he like takes it and he's like doesn't.
So wait, hold
really,
on. When you're taking it,
he doesn't
like,
even process. Like
yeah, hold on. So when you reach to take it out, I make sure to put the box on both your hands with the map on top. So your hands are now holding the box with the map on top. That is how I hand it to you, just for the record.
he just like mutters kind of to himself a little bit, just ceremonial exchange of gifts. This would seem to imply some sort of appreciation. Thank you. Yeah, that.
Think
And he
nothing
just
of
like, he just like, it's basically just the most awkward thank you you've ever heard of in your life.
All right, I'm taking these 2 items off my character sheet.
Okay.
I'm keeping the sack though.
Yep.
So the map, I don't know if you want to put a GP value, is 25 GP on your character sheet, whatever.
And then you would probably walk up on him just like muttering like disgust of like the state of this inventory that's been being taken, and just like just all his shit. So Steve, basically what I'm reflecting there is I'm just doing checks to try and actually identify what these scrolls are and these wands and all this. For now, I'm just going to do take 10s on them, and if that's not enough on anything, then like you can let me know, and I'll study it over the next few days to see if I can get it better.
Yeah,
But
we actually had the scroll information listed, but now they're going to get downgraded if the details weren't listed out there. Let me find...
Potions... What is potions in the...
Make sure I don't have a...
It basically looks like there's a potion, 2 scrolls, and a wand that would have magical properties, and then everything else is not. Is that correct?
That is, everything else is not magical. That is correct. So I do not know where the notes are for those. I may not have copied them over. I may have assumed that they were saving down in my Conscripted folder, but they are not there.
Do you just want to randomly roll something
I'll
again?
randomly roll up some potions real quick. 1 second here. Give me a second.
Pathfinder is 10 to 10 to 10 for currency, right? There's no
believe so.
weird like
Yeah.
5-1 like it is in whatever that's stupid.
Oh yeah, it's 10. Should be 10.
Does anyone know what I'm talking about? There's like something that's like a system that has like a 5-1, just a random one. It's like
I have no
Electrum
idea.
or something?
Oh, Electrum I thought was 10 more than gold.
We don't have any Electrum.
I know. I'm just trying to remember what the stupid one. There's like something that has a weird ratio, and I can't remember.
I don't do any weird ratios. So we have it's copper, silver, platinum, or copper, silver, gold, platinum, and then sapphire coin. And sapphire coin is equal to 10 platinum.
Oh, I see.
One sapphire coin is equal to 10 platinum. That math that's there, I may have misspoken when I first said it, but it's one sapphire coin equals 1 platinum.
So it's just a replacement to platinum.
No, it is the next step up to platinum.
So one sapphire.
You have platinum, and then
10.
above that you have one sapphire is 10 platinum.
So is that something at the camp we could exchange? Because I don't have a sapphire slot.
You actually can now exchange them for sapphire coins. Because the camp does have sapphire coins on hand now.
Okay, I'll use my other valuables as a slot for this.
That's fine.
Sapphire, does that work?
Yeah.
And then that way I have all of them in the money section? Okay.
Absolutely. Let me roll you up some potions, and hopefully then we can get to the actual fun part of this campaign, and we won't have a bookkeeping session like we did in Akunsant that one day.
Woo!
I don't know, this seems pretty entertaining.
Alright, let's see what we got here. We're gonna say that the oil is oil of light. Uh,
2x scrolls of wit.
no, actually, let's make that potion. Let's make that potion of remove sickness. I think that's something you'd more likely find, and 2 scrolls of mirror strike.
I don't know if anyone remembers this, but were some of these gems weren't for the party fund, were they? They were just being held there until we exchanged them to be divvied out, right?
Because we didn't. Everyone was being. We got them at the very end of a session, so we didn't split them up.
Yeah, so I'll let Moldonicus know this.
So they were in the party fund until later on.
So are they in our possession or not?
They are in a possession, but they're not for like all of us to. They're supposed to be like transferred to currency and split up to a. It's not for the party fund.
Yeah, gems are a little harder to break down. So the gems, the military won't exchange. The military has trouble doing exchanges in gems, even though they're marked. So you'll need to get the gems to a larger city, or you'll have to use them for trades in order to break them down into their smaller coin values.
Okay. And the wand has charges of what?
The wand is of. Do another quick roll here.
Cure serious wound.
Okay, give me something useful for.
You got useful things. Let's see here. Come on. Oh, I know how I can do this quick. Do it this way. And I choose this. There we go. It is a wand of... Say it's a wand of Bane. And it has... 12... 20... And it has 26 charges.
Okay.
Alright. So, are we done with Pathfinder the Accounting?
I think so.
In an hour or so, maybe.
So actually, there are a few things.
Alright, so... Well, Mal, do you have any survival or higher perception?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys have the... Are you exchanging the box like just shortly after you get out of camp, or when you When are you handing him over the box?
I think it would be like just as we're heading out of the camp.
Okay.
Am I rolling perception? I'm sorry.
No, I'm more curious. What are you going to do with the box that you've been handed?
I guess it's kind of an interesting question. I don't really know how I'd be carrying stuff. I would probably have like a. How big is it? It's like this.
So the box is actually the box is quite large. The box is about yay large.
Okay, so it's a very big box.
Yay tall. It has kind of a smooth finish to it, and it has like a set of latches on it. Have you ever seen like a case for a musical instrument? It almost looks kind of like one of those.
How heavy is it?
It's reasonably heavy, actually. It is. Hold on a sec. I don't remember the weight of this off the top of my head.
Yeah, right now.
No, you better check it out and make sure it works well, because I just bought it.
If it's like awkwardly heavy, I might
It's
like,
about
look
4
inside.
pounds. Not include. Well, I guess it would be about 6 pounds, including the case. Maybe about 8, actually. I think that case is about 4 pounds.
So is it okay? So is it over or under mage hand range? Otherwise,
It is. It is over mage hand range, regardless.
All right. What's in the box?
You're gonna open up the box.
What's in the box?
Inside is an item
in a
that
box.
looks like. Let's see if I can pull this out here. This. It is a blue scimitar that has a like the wings of a dragon as its hilt, a dragon maw, like blowing forth a long blue cold iron blade, and the handle looks to be like similar to a dragon's tail.
He recognizes it as a dragon.
Yeah, it's very clear. It's very clear that it looks like a dragon.
I take it out and sort of give it a whiff. Does it feel better than my normal scimitar?
It does, and when you take it out, I am going to need you to give me a will save.
Here we go, boys.
Yeah, lose that sanity.
It was nice knowing y'all.
You can choose to fail, right, Steve?
You can choose to fail.
Ooh.
Okay, so you grab it, and for a moment, you hear something in your head say, "Hello." And you feel the blade kind of start to tingle up your arm. But as it does, you kind of like push away that feeling. But yeah, it's much lighter than or it's about the same weight as your regular blade. But it feels like as you move it, you can feel like it kind of guides its way through the air around you. It's not just kind of your movements. It also seems to be its own movements assisting you in the way it moves.
I would probably assume at first that this voice is I'm just like a little bit paranoid or something, or just overwhelmed by, or that like Arius is playing like a trick on me or something. So like I would probably just ignore the voice for now. But cool, yeah, I wouldn't take the box then. I would just sheath the scimitar and just like put the box like in a tent and just walk away.
As you take and sheath the scimitar, you hear, "It's nice to be chosen."
Oh, nothing bad going on there.
What is it? Is it?
I'm like, Arius, fall in line right now.
How's that? Look at that nice sword I just got you. Look at that.
Is this some sort of magical trick?
I didn't put any magical trick on it. I just bought it from the store. I asked for their finest gift for our new leader, and they recommended this.
How are you doing this? How are you making it do that? How does it make the noise?
He's not
can't-
doing it. I'm doing it.
I hear no
Stop
noise.
making the noise! And I'm like, just like, sort of just like exclaiming, like, at this point, probably disruptively in the camp.
Perhaps our resident witch should examine the object to see what properties it has. Perhaps it's a magical benefits to you.
Huh.
Aside from whatever noises you're hearing.
I could attempt to if you.
What is it speaking to me in?
It is speaking to you in what you assume is common, but it's hard to, like, the way that you feel the words kind of appear in your head, it's kind of like knowing what it's saying more than it is like hearing it talk to you.
You know what? I think I just need sleep. Let's move along. We've been traveling a lot. We've been negotiating, and I think I just need a good night's sleep. And this voice thing will probably go away.
Okay.
Well,
Sword made out of the Ant Queen.
Oh God!
just so you
It
know,
just says
Mal,
blacksmith ink all across the blade.
just so you know, Mal Spinks is adept at speaking with spirits. So perhaps if there's a spirit attached to it, she could commune with it. But perhaps for a time of rest.
Yeah, you may have stumbled upon something interesting here, but let's yeah. Well, let's get on our journey, and we can talk about it on the road.
It is the sword of Jack will eventually smite you. Alright, so we are going to start the travel then. Let's have some of our regular old checks here.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, excellent. Good geography there. Good survival to go along with it. And...
Unless directly told to, I'm not paying attention at all, and I'm looking at actually this dragon toy that I have, and I'm just examining it
Okay.
while we're walking.
So
I'm
as
not
you start like examining it, you can see like it seems like it moves sometimes, even when you're not like moving it. And for a moment, you think you hear it like say, "I'm glad to be with you."
This toy, it resembles the exact one in my dream that I had.
It is exactly like the
Exactly.
one from your dream. Like
Okay.
to a point that you, as you're touching it, you kind of remember back to your childhood, and you can tell tactily as well that this even feels the same way. It has like all the same notches that you remember when you were a kid, like the exact same textures. And you start to kind of get like remember that smell that it had, like kind of like a woodish kind of maybe resin coat that was on there to kind of hold it together. And it has some moving pieces, like naturally, like you can move it like you could a toy, but then periodically like you'll think you see it move in a way that like is not natural for a toy made out of wood to be able to twist or turn.
Oh good. 3 of our party members talk to things that aren't there.
Well, I'm not speaking to it. I'm just acknowledging it, and I'm kind of just like, I'm constantly like, I don't know. I guess if you guys look over at me, I'm just like looking at this thing, and every once in a while, I guess I'm gonna hold it to like the chest where I'm missing my amulet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just hold it there for a bit, and then just keep walking, and re-examine it every once in a while, and do the same pattern.
When you do, like, you find it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. Almost like if something were like trying to make you scared, this would like it's got that kind of security blanket feel to you when you hold it there. So yeah,
I'm the one with the problem.
you guys
I'm
have
the one with the problem.
you have a relatively uneventful first few hours. Let's go ahead and check on the next couple hours of the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Another entirely uneventful leg of the trip.
That's what I like to hear.
And the next leg.
Ooh, I'm doing super good until
Nice
that third leg.
perception there, Zeke. So you guys are traveling pretty well. And with Zeke's perception, you will notice in the distance, oh no, okay, I'm reading the dice wrong. This is not so bad.
Did you remember to dimension them first?
There is a group of about... how is I doing this? Let's just do it this way. There are about 19 horses roaming about the fields as you're traveling.
All right, I'll point them out to you guys.
Perfect. No, I'm not actually doing that.
I mean, you could, if you actually have ranks and handle animal.
Not quite.
Okay. There are about 6 of them are much larger horses than the other horses.
Ooh. Dire horses.
That means they can breathe in air.
All right, and the last leg of your journey.
Oh, yes.
All right. Yeah, you have a fully safe and uneventful trip as you arrive at the gate of the city of Lukil. Let me get you over there. It's not too many. I've now got officially too many entries here. Lukil is a very large town. It is largely populated with dwarves and gnomes, a handful of halflings, and some other mixed groups here and there. You would have also been made aware of, I forgot to mention this, but it is run by a group called the Guilders Union. The Guilders Union is basically a group of the high-ranking guild leaders that all make the decisions for the town overall. And yeah, you know what you've got to do here. But it is evening when you arrive in town, or at least getting on towards evening when you arrive in town.
Alright.
Alright, what's the plan?
Find the local inn.
What time do we get into town?
It's basically the later part of the day. It's basically about third sun's noon. So you know, in about 3 or 4 hours, it will be sunset and evening.
I basically just say, all right, lads, when we're not in travel, you're free to do whatever. I think we should rendezvous at a point in a few hours, and everyone can do whatever they need to do in town until then.
Is there an inn nearby?
You would have to ask about. None of you have been to this town before.
Sounds good.
Rendezvous in a few hours for what? We're doing some nighttime investigation?
Well, just to meet back together wherever we're staying.
Okay.
Wow, that was a 2. That pisses me off.
So he tells you guys can kind of wander about on your own and find things, and so you wander up to some dwarf who's just kind of standing around, looking over some notes and looking at a building that's under construction, and you walk over and you're like, hey, and he keeps looking in his notes, and so you say it a little louder, hey, and he turns and he's like, the hell do you want? I'm building a fucking building here. You see what I'm doing? I don't got time for your shit. Alright? I don't get off for another 20 minutes, okay? What the hell do you want?
Sorry, I was just wondering if there was an inn nearby.
You fucking drunks are all the same, always looking for some goddamn booze. You know where the fucking bars are? You're lost? Look, that's the front gate. That's where all the shit is, okay? You go down that road, you'll fucking find a place. Why the fuck are you coming over here and interrupting my ability to get my fucking job done? You see these? You see these? I gotta follow these plans specifically.
What's he building?
They're working on a small building where he's standing. He's basically advising a number of dwarves who are all using stone shape to like to put the walls into position. Move some of the other dwarves are moving land out from the ground beneath, and they're kind of like shaping together this to be built building. And he's kind of standing there like overseeing and making sure they're following the directions on the sheet.
I'm just gonna do a check to be a wise ass and see if like their structure even looks good.
Yeah.
Or if they're like.
Oh, when he said see these, I started looking at his designs.
Oops, sorry.
Uh,
So I have no idea.
yeah, this building looks like it's going to be fantastic in the future. Maybe like 6 stories. Cassius, you can see like he's got blueprints there, but give me a. That's not going to do it. Give me a knowledge arcana.
Oof. Can't use it untrained, right?
Nope. So Mal, you're not
What about
really sure. You do
spellcraft?
notice there's like some symbols on there that seem very runic in nature, but you have no idea. Like neither of you can understand anything that's on this document.
Oh, what about spellcraft? Would that work? No, 'cause it's not being cast.
You could try to spellcraft it. It's so you're definitely sure that like whatever is putting the words on there is some sort of magical effect. Most likely it is. It could be secret page from what you're looking at, which is why it's coming up. Which is why maybe you're seeing it as something different than what it actually is.
Okay.
Sir Dwarf, thank you for the information. Perhaps a profession as a sailor with that mouth instead of your current profession.
My current profession is fine. Then he shouts something at you in Dwarven. Does anybody speak Dwarven? All right. It is one of the most foul dwarven statements that he can make towards him.
Yeah, I'm
Have a
pretty
good
sure
day
I've
to
heard
you
that.
too. And I'll just start walking off towards the direction of where he said the inn was.
Okay. So there are. If somebody else wants to give me another. Well, I guess what does everybody want to do to start? I know Cassius, you seem interested in finding an inn.
Yeah, someplace we can meet up.
Is anybody else like going to travel along with Arius to find an inn?
I'll meet up with him at the inn. I wanted to see if this town has any sort of archives that I could do research in.
Sure. And then what are Spinks, Arius, and Zeke going to do?
I wanted to see if they had, since they're on a port town, see if they have gem trading where we can dispose of our party gems for cash.
Excellent. And then Spinks?
I would also like to find it in.
Okay, so are you going to go along with Cassius to do it, or are you going to try to do it on your own?
I'll go with Cassie.
Okay, and Zeke, what about you?
I'm completely broke. I'll just walk with them to the inn.
Okay. Alright, so let me have the three of you give me some gather info, either diplomacy or something of the ilk, or knowledge local, but you'll have to spend a little bit of time. Okay. So together, you guys can manage to put together that there are 2 inns in town, which I need to pull up my document for this town. There is the Green Candle Inn and the Broken Sword Inn. But with your rolls, that's about all you can get about each one. They do tell you that the Broken Sword is in the Slums District, whereas the Green Candle Inn is near where all the temples are.
Check out the Green Candle Inn first.
Okay. So the three of you head over to the Green Candle Inn. It is a 2-story, half-timbered building with a reinforced door. Inside, it is a relatively... it has like a relatively moderate kind of, bar sound to it. There's a good number of patrons in here, sitting around, talking about things, a few people eating, a few people having some drinks, a few people just sitting around having casual conversation. And behind the counter is a very old human male who seems to walk about talking to a couple of the... behind the bar as well. I'm sorry, he's not the only person behind the bar. He seems to talk about back and forth to a couple of the other barmaids that are there as they move back and forth. And then he kind of wanders back out into the back and then comes out periodically from a back area, talks to them some more, and he seems to move about quite a bit. But I'll jump back to you guys in a little bit. Now, you are looking for a library, correct?
Correct.
All right. So in town, there is a rather large library. That is easy enough to find because as soon as you mention anything about looking for a library, people will point you to the nearest temple of Sashat. I'm sorry, the nearest temple of Suanol.
Okay.
The Temple of Suanol is a rather large building. It's about 4 or 5 stories, about 5 stories tall. Around the top of it, you can see what looks like a glowing crown, and there's like a soft beam of light that falls down upon the building. Inside, there are kind of just clerics standing around looking over books. They won't bother you unless you come up to speak to them. And there's very clear signage throughout the building telling you where's the library, where you could, make donations, the locations of like the different types of priests. They rank them in kind of low, medium, and high, depending upon the severity of your issue.
Is there like a librarian desk?
Yeah. If you go up to the library, you'll find that there is a cleric seated behind a desk.
I go up to the cleric and I just basically ask, where would be the sections of adventurers who basically have taken detailed notes of their travels in this regions, specifically people with an observation of wildlife?
The little gnome woman behind the counter kind of giggles softly to herself. Oh, we have quite a problem with people don't like when they're adventuring to take notes. It's historically a big problem. Any of the notes that we find are usually like verbal, passed on. People seem not to want to read stories about adventurers, or maybe adventurers just don't want to write stories about themselves, or maybe there's like a substantial like under quantity of bards that roam the world. I don't really know what it is, but there was once a person who was a big storyteller. He told lots and lots of stories, but rumor has it he kept all of his stories to himself, and many of them seem to revolve around some kind of bird person, like some sort of phoenix or something. And it had a human name like Peter or Piotr or something like that. I don't remember. There was one other woman, and she kept notes too, and she was gonna tell this big story, and then she gave it all to the priestesses of Sashat, and unless you go to a temple of Sashat, you can't hear about these stories. It's like exclusive to Sashat, and they blame we have to keep Thoth from stealing it and that kind of thing. But wouldn't it be best if we protected it? That's what we do. We keep information. That's what Suanol's good for,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, great. That's great. What about detailed analysis from any sorts of local researchers in this area looking to study the mountains and the effects the mountains have on the surrounding populace?
Ooh. Yes, mountaineering stuff. Oh, there's a section back there in 38.2 is where you'll find it. It has to do with a large variety of the research that's occurred in the mountains. I would be careful, though. There's quite a few books. A lot of people like studying the mountains and a lot of the stuff that goes on over there. There's some very odd things that happen in the mountains, especially with the way the giants work over there and a number of other creatures that some say want to eat your mind.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And I start walking, and then right as I'm about to turn the corner, I'm and I guess while I'm at it, is there a section on items that talk to people?
Ooh! Yes, actually. Are you looking for fiction or nonfiction?
Hopefully fiction, but let's go with nonfiction.
Ooh, excellent. There are a couple of books, nonfiction, that you can uncover that describe the ideas that people have had and the research that's been done on supplanting a person into an object or bringing sentience to an object. It's very exciting, actually. There is this one story where there is a person who died, and many, many years later, a dark force had taken the spirit from his body and instilled it upon a weapon and gave it to another from his lineage so they would fight on behalf of them and eventually kill the evil lord of all of the demons.
I'm just like...
I get it, Ryan. Hooray for me, I did it.
I just say thank you, and I will go.
I want
And
credit,
while
Ryan,
walking
but
away,
I'm doing
I basically just like, wow, that is the most excited librarian about her job I've ever encountered in my life. Although that's probably the only librarian I've ever met in my life. Never mind. So I just assume all librarians are just like super eccentric and excited about everything that they do.
All right.
And I'll just go to those sections and start combing through books, trying to find something similar. In the mountaineering section, I'm looking specifically for like stuff that looks like it would be looking at the effects that these mountains have on things.
Okay.
And then for the books section, or on the sentient stuff, just whatever is there. If anything pops out, like, hey, my sword is talking to me, a documentary or something like that.
Okay. So, with regard to looking for the sword stuff, give me a Knowledge Arcana at a +2 bonus.
Okay.
If you want to spend a lot of time here in the library, you can also choose to take 10. You cannot take 20, however, as you do not have that kind of time on hand.
No, because if he rolls badly, it's dangerous.
23.
All right, so on a 23, you can find a book that that really seems right up the alley of this. It's called "Eventually You Could Be My Sword."
Okay.
And then for the knowledge, for the stuff about the mountains, give me either a knowledge geography or a knowledge history, even if you don't have it, at a +2.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
so you find quite a few books on the mountain stuff. I will give you the results of your findings in a little bit.
cool. So I will just spend my time until eventually the agreed upon rendezvous point.
Yep.
In the library doing that.
Okay.
And that's what I'm doing for the next 2 hours.
Perfect. And then Arius, you are looking for a gem cutter.
Oui, monsieur.
You can find one eventually roaming around. Well, I guess go ahead and give me diplomacy. Let's see how long yeah.
Ooh.
Ugh. All right, so it takes you a long time to finally find this place, but eventually you do. You realize you get to roam around this place quite a bit, and you start realizing like things here are kind of sectioned out into what their purposes are. So there's like a merchants district, there's like a builders district, there's like the clerical district, there's an administration district, like, and there's a housing district, and there's like everything is very much so like partitioned off into its own separate section. So when you get into the merchants district, you notice almost immediately you can find the gem cutter, who is here. It is a older dwarven man. He has a number of like gems strewn across a small table that has a large like plate of glass in between him and you, with a small door that can kind of open up to his side. But he is looking over each of them with I always forget what the eye thing is that you use to inspect.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, it's escaping my brain. A jeweler's loop.
Okay, and like from my observation, is this like the main one, or is there other ones, or
there's only the one.
shops?
One of the things that you
Only
notice
one.
as you're going around here is that like there's not a lot of other businesses like in competition. It seems like there's one of a large number of these businesses.
Are there any customers in here right now, or is there anyone looking around?
No,
off to
it
the
is
side,
it is
or-
empty at the moment.
Oh. Alright, I guess I'll go up to the... You said it was a dwarf, right?
Yep.
I'll introduce myself. Say, hail, dwarf. My party's looking to offload some gems. You have any good deals that you can accommodate with?
Hail to you too. What do you got for? What kind of gems do you happen to have?
We'll have assortments. We'll have black pearl, topaz, stuff like that. As I recall from my memory. What do we have?
Yep.
Yeah, topaz is the big one. We got some moonstones, saltwater pearl, and some lapis. Are you able to exchange those kind of gems here?
I'd say we could do some form of exchange. Would probably do quite well just outside of here. There we go. Perfect.
Is there a preferred rate for military members?
Oh, military, you say? I guess I should have noticed that from the outfit.
That's right.
We can cut you a bit more of a fair shake, because we assume that this is going to go towards... You're going to spend the gold here in town, most likely, right?
Yes, of course.
And you're going to use the money that you spend towards greater defenses for us, right?
Well, yeah, the more money we have, the more money we have to spend here. We have we're doing some investigating around here, so we'll be here for a little bit, for sure.
Then I think we can probably work out something where we give you about 90% of the face value.
That sounds more than fair. I don't have the gems on me now, but we'll be back around either sometime tomorrow, probably. You can expect
Excellent.
us.
He slides you over a piece of cardboard with some writing on it. His business card of sorts.
All right, I take it and I bid him adieu.
He nods.
And I'll try to note the general location of this shop.
Okay.
So I can find it here next time.
Yep.
And I'll head back to the inn.
Okay. Well, you don't know where the inn is yet, so.
Oh, I thought we found it first.
No, the three of them went off to find the inn, and the two of you, you and.
I will...
Yeah.
Actually, I'll look at if there's like a center of town of like what's going on before it's dark, and then I'll find if I run into anyone, or I'll find an inn to stay in or whatever.
All right. Not far outside of the merchants' quarters. As you're traveling out, you notice there is like a big trade square that's set up. There's a lot of various carts and stalls and other things that are set up selling miscellaneous little things here and there, trinkets from across the sea, just a lot of various things. But and then as you get a little further, there's actually kind of like a small, almost entertainment district that's set up.
Okay.
Mal, your mic I think is on extra sensitive.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I think that's you. I just can't tell where the noise is coming from.
I can check.
No, it seems better. So it's fairly well decked out for a lot of presentations. They have a stage in place. There's quite a bit that could be done here. That noise is actually getting to me, and I don't know where it's coming from.
It is coming from him.
Okay.
It is for me?
Yeah. If you double click on a person's picture, it'll throw the other ones up to the side, and you can actually see the boxes there.
Okay.
What's it sound like?
Almost like breathing.
Is it just my... I can turn on my
it's
fan.
breathing?
Oh, you know what? It
I'm
could be the
hearing
fan.
an echo.
There is a soft echo, too. But that would be weird, because he's
Not
using a
soft.
headset. Oh, it's soft to me.
It was
Is it still
breathing
going?
mixed with a paint can spray.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Alright, it must just be picking up my fan. That's weird that it picks that up. It's like your cat snort.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, what do you, I'm sorry to drop everyone's immersion there.
So I guess I just want to kind of people watch to see if there's anything to notice, or just see what everyone's up to, kind of thing.
Sure.
Kind of late hour.
Give me a perception.
Ooh, one of my best skills.
I'll prepare to roll poorly then.
Yep, that's about how that works. So There's not a whole lot going on. Like, watching over things, you do see, like, it is very apparent that this is a town built out of mostly dwarves and gnomes that are just roaming about. I mean, you can see nothing but, like, you know, you can basically see everyone moving about the streets because they're all 4 feet tall or shorter. It's easy to notice anytime anything other than a gnome, dwarf, or halfling moves about, because there's just like this lumbering thing moving about the streets, even if it's like a lanky elf moving around. Comparatively, look quite large.
Yeah, I guess if I don't see anything super interesting, I'll start looking for the rest of the group in the tavern we're settling on.
Go ahead and give me another diplomacy. See if you can find your way about things.
These rolls, man.
You can also give me a perception here. You've roamed around the town quite a bit, so.
Perfect.
All right.
I'm just lost for the rest of the night.
You see a bunch of buildings.
You'll eventually actually end up finding Mal as he starts wandering back to the meeting location.
Mal. What were you up to?
Let me jump back to the other three real quick as they get into the inn. What are the three of you doing once you arrive?
I was gonna talk to one of the people here and see about renting a room.
Okay.
Or a couple rooms.
Yeah, so you can make your way up to the front counter, and one of the barmaids will stop the older man who's walking about, and he'll come over to you towards the counter. Yes. What is it you need?
Howdy. I was looking for a couple of rooms and trying to get some pricing.
A couple, so 2. How many?
Or, let's say 3.
3? Just 3?
Yes.
1, 2, 3?
Yeah, for right now.
5 silver each, please. How many nights?
Sure. That's a good question. I'm not sure how long we're going to be here. Well, let's just do for tonight, but I'm sure we'll be staying longer.
Fair enough.
I'll let you know when I find out.
5 silver each then, so 15.
Alright.
Or 1.5 gold.
I'll go ahead and hand him over 2 gold.
Okay. He'll hand you back 5
Tell him
silvers.
to keep the change.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
He'll hand each of you your key.
Alright.
Your key has a little tag that tells you what room you have. The rooms are upstairs.
So, about what time of day is it?
It is later. It is late in the day. It's you're about an hour into the midday of the or the mid part of the mid. You're an hour after the mid part of the third sun.
All right, so it'd be like
you got about 2 hours before
time.
night sets in, but it's roughly dinner time in the next hour or so.
All right. Also, I was wondering if what you guys have got to eat and drink around here.
Ooh, we have lots of things. He offers you their menu for the day.
Ooh.
Of specials.
Ooh, boiled goose.
That definitely sounds like breathing. Mal, I don't really know if it's you. I can only go on other people. But I maybe tune down your sensitivity or tune up your sensitivity a little bit, and let's see if that helps.
Yeah, I'm literally not even breathing when it's doing that. I've been trying to not.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part. So then there's nothing else in the background making any noise.
Nothing breathing in the background.
Well, remember, James was having a similar issue where it would make like a breathing like noise. Well, I guess Tom and Michelle would remember. I don't think it happened when you were on there, Ryan. But now it's not happening.
Move the mic away a little bit. Maybe that helped. question mark.
Oh no, that just confirms it was me because I turned off my mic.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. I'll play around with it.
All right. So yeah, you've got the rooms.
All right.
The menu.
And it's just me, Zeke, and Spinks.
Yes.
Test.
I can hear you good, and I don't hear the noise anymore.
Yeah.
Now I don't hear you. I don't hear that. Yep, the snap was delayed, but I heard one of the snaps.
I think it was just poorly setting my threshold. Whenever I manually set it, hopefully that's better.
Okay.
You guys hungry?
Yeah.
Alright. See anything you like on there? Like looking over the menu.
I'll take a mug of stout cottage.
Mug of stout cottage.
That's not what that means.
A whole cottage of ale? Oops.
Mug of stout potage. I don't know.
No, pottage is like a stew, and so it's a mug of stout, like ale, and then the pottage. So you get both for the 2 copper pieces.
And is this bitter? Is that just like a bitter, like, mead kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Typically by itself, it refers to... yeah, it's a specific type of ale, actually, I think.
Alright.
Alright, well,
Yeah,
the
alright.
3 of you can pick your menu items. We'll jump back over to Arius and Mel while you guys are doing that.
Yeah, I'll give the guy 3 silver. I'll just get whatever. And then, whatever's left over. Actually, you know what? I'll give him 4, and then whatever's left over, I'll just buy some more alcohol.
Okay. Alright.
Greetings. How was your adventuring in the city?
Good. I located a gem store to offload our gems that we were so luckily to remember that are in that party fund that we need to distribute to us. So
Yes, the random loot that I am very helpful at getting for you guys. Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're the leader, so yeah, I guess you get a cut. Just kidding. Yeah, so find anything interesting on your run?
So Steve, you can give me more like in between, but just in general, the 2 things that I would want to know from my research is the story that I read about with the sword, was it one of like fame? Was it one of terror? Was it like friendship? Was it like what did this like author seem to describe his relationship with as?
So this blade was a story about the author who had a friend of theirs that they'd spent a lot of time with, and they'd done a lot of stuff together. Not really necessarily adventuring stuff, but they ran into a few instances of troubled times where they had to defend themselves. And between the 2 of them, neither of them were a particularly good fighter, but his friend was a much better fighter than he was. He had some spell knowledge, but he wasn't like, some kind of spell savant. He could cast some spells, and his friend would kind of handle the heavy hitting when necessary, or the heavy hitting of sorts. And they would travel about from place to place. They both had a good amount of money left over from when their families had died. With their parents were quite wealthy. They had passed on and given the money to the 2 of them separately. And the 2 of them decided they would kind of travel throughout the country and see the sights and do things. And so the first part of the story kind of wraps up that story. It doesn't take a long time talking about it, but he discusses how like he built this very deep relationship with his friend, and when his friend had passed away, he and his friend had been doing a lot of stuff to work on this blade and to make this blade better. So they had taken it and they had brought it to like a weaponsmith, and had him kind of do some work on it to improve the quality overall. They really were very attached to this specific blade. It was the first blade they had found. It was laying on the ground some years ago. They didn't know where it had come from some years ago. Didn't know where it had come from. So they really didn't want to like swap the blade out for something else. They were super attached to it. So they had it get shined up, and the swordsmith had kind of told them, hey, this is a exceptional quality blade. Talked about how it dated back like a large number of years. It may have even been at one point like the blade of some distant hero. So they decided that they would like, over time, he would learn how to enchant the blade and make the blade, maybe they could make the blade a little better. And so they worked together, doing their traveling, enchanting the blade, and eventually they were in a circumstance where things went horribly awry in a combat. The two of them were ambushed by a large group of creatures. In the book, he's trying to describe them, but he doesn't have names for them. But he describes these creatures that have like this shapeless kind of mass and a lot of eyes and mouths all over their body. And like he describes in detail his friend being like eaten by these things as he's trying to fight them. They like kind of wrap all over his body and they start like tearing apart his form. And as he's like reaching out to kind of pull his friend back, his friend just kind of reaches out with the sword and he grabs his friend's arm and he loses grip on his friend but manages to take the sword with him. And over time, like he had devoted himself to like, I'm gonna make this the best sword that anyone's ever seen. I'm going to use my magic and I'm going to toil at this. And he spent a bunch of time working with this, and he started dabbling in like trying to understand some aspects of some other aspects of magic as well. When you get to miss somebody you've spent a lot of really close time with, you start looking at any opportunity you might get to talk to him again. Speaking with dead. You start wondering, like, could I bring him back? So he started looking into some divine magic, some necromancy in more detail. He really, like, started seeking something very different. When one day he came across this person that was very, very sympathetic to his story. The person explained that there are ways that you can bring a person back, but sometimes you just need the right spells to do things in the right way. The guy kind of misunderstood what was being explained, and the person handed him over a scroll that he didn't quite comprehend, but he was assured by the person that like this scroll will give you a way to speak to your friend again. All you need is some memento from long ago of his that you can call him back with. And so he proceeded to cast the spell upon this weapon. And for a little while, like, nothing happened. There was no effect. Over some time, though, of continued, like, research and continued magical investment into this item, the item started speaking to him very slowly. It would say a few words, it greeted him. It was almost as if the item wasn't really sure exactly where or who it was. But then over the years that would pass, the more magic and time he would put into this weapon, the more he and the weapon would communicate. And suddenly it started remembering things that, like, the sword couldn't have known that existed, unless, of course, the sword could know them before, from when it did not have the ability to speak. And then at one point, it finally acknowledges itself as his friend. He then spends a number of years doing a lot of research and testing on the weapon to confirm information about the sword. He's asking the sword questions about the time before they had, like, come across the sword, like some of the stuff they had done as kids, some of the stuff they did right before they started traveling. All the memories seemed to be there. Everything seemed to be, like, locked in there. a number of his tests confirmed that this was a real person. And when he himself started doing some research into other phenomenon like this, he learned that it's not uncommon for this to happen. Emotional bonds can lock people into very interesting circumstances. It can keep some people alive beyond their death, roaming the world with a desire to complete a goal. And sometimes that can manifest in kind of keeping a piece of them attached to an item. And the more he looked at the magic and the more he would bring it to different people, he brought it to witches, to wizards, to clerics, to even some very far off creatures that he describes as lion-faced creatures with the bodies of men, and no fur on the rest of their bodies, that had very powerful magics. They would all explain kind of the same phenomenon amongst different things. They could see it in some of the lives of other people. Some houses would take on this. It wasn't just tied to weapons, it was tied to a number of other things. And he would go to these places and he would document information of what he would see from each of these things. It can be hard. What he confirms is that early on it can be hard to identify what spirit is within the object once it's taken hold. But with enough research into the past of the item, if you know the past of the item, you can learn what the thing is that resides within it. Sometimes it might be something that's linked close to you. Sometimes it might be something that's linked close to someone you cared about. And sometimes it can just be something that you happen upon and have the ability in you that kind of wakes the item up at the right time. And sometimes it's just a combination of the three. Thus far, his studies were somewhat inconclusive as to definitively which one of those carries more weight on the item. But the one thing that was certain is he started to learn more of the ways of the blade, and he started to converse with the blade more often. He found the blade could find itself more easily. And the less interacting he would have with the blade, the more distant he would become from the blade. And the less the blade would remember over time.
So I'd say to Arius, well, it seemed, friend, that at least I'm not crazy, which is good for me because I don't think I'm gonna get by on my looks.
So, you plan on letting Sphinx look at that sword and see what it's about, I guess?
I guess I would have to first make sure that that's okay with whatever in the blade. I've been a loner too, and I don't think I would like being treated like a lab experiment, you know?
Well, it's not an experiment. Sphinx's powers reside in communing with the dead. This seems like it's right up her alley.
Well,
There's a spirit linked to it?
It's not a matter of talking with it. It's just a matter of trusting it. I can hear it clear as day, but now I know that it actually has a real voice, and it's not just me imagining.
And I would be happy to work with you.
Well,
good. I just say out loud.
Yes. So to the inn, I guess.
I guess on the topic of, you were saying you were looking to pawn off some of these gems. I think we have some military equipment we could maybe pawn off too, unless anyone... I assume if no one dibs to any of this stuff by now, we should be getting rid of it. Travel as light as we can.
Yeah. I only located a gem store, but I'm sure there's other pawn shops we could do.
Well, if this place has a gem store, it has to have an armory, right?
Yeah.
If we're on the tier chart, the gems are tier 5, and then everywhere, every little village I've ever been to seems to be obsessed with weapons.
They are important.
In your exploring, did you come by any shops of that sort?
So, Arius, go ahead and give me a perception. I'll let you know what kind of stuff you saw while you're traveling about.
Yeah. Perception. Oof.
No, you were very focused on trying to find that gem cutter.
You know what, Mal? I don't even know if there is an armory in this town. I didn't see any.
Wow.
And I walked around for quite a while.
All right, I guess we'll just have to sell it at a different town. Let's go back to the inn then.
Yeah.
All right. So the rest of the crew isn't coming to find you. They're not going to meet you at the designated time as they're all drinking and having dinner. So the two of you will need to give me some diplomacy or knowledge locals to try to find the inn.
I don't even recall a designated time or place being set.
This was a great campaign, guys. It ends with us getting lost in the city.
I actually, instead of looking for an inn, like this is what I say we're doing, but I'm actually want to look out if there's a Blacksmith Inc. location here.
Okay. So you're like you walk up to somebody and you're like, hey, is there like a blacksmith around here?
Jokey.
And they're like, yeah, there's a blacksmith like down the way. And why are we being quiet about this?
I would kind of like do like some sort of code word to indicate the blacksmith thing, like I would like, you know, the real blacksmith, and I'll kind of like wink.
He's super confused by your wink. He's like, you're looking for like something to hammer you? Is that what you're looking for? There's a bordello over in the entertainment district.
No. Like this blacksmith is like special. They have like special stuff. You know
yeah, like the good stuff. So you go right up the road. It's in the entertainment district. Right down the way. You'll see it. There's like a big red sign on the wall. You can't miss it.
Sounds like more like a Chrysanthemum thing.
No, they actually have like actual weapons and stuff.
Right, then that's the blacksmith. Yes, the regular blacksmith is down the road in the merchants district.
Okay. Also, you seen any taverns around here or inns?
I'm sorry. I flipped that up really bad. I got Mal's role confused with yours, Arius. I'm sorry. He will tell you. The reason he's confused is there is no Blacksmith Inc. location. So he's genuinely confused for that. But he eventually he gets what you're going for, that you're talking about something specific. And he's like, no. There's no business like that.
Okay, how about an inn that travelers may frequent, probably a cheaper one because we don't have a lot of money.
If you're looking for a cheaper inn, the place you'd want to go would be the Broken Sword.
The Broken Sword. Okay.
Yes. You can sleep there for next to nothing.
All right.
You don't pay with copper. You pay with the disease you get.
Yeah, I'm a high class hoe.
What are the most commonly traveled taverns / inns? We'll check that one if we don't find our party. Or
he also mentions if you want another, there is another inn if you don't necessarily want to sleep on what feels like the equivalent of a floor. There is of course the green candle.
Now, which one do you think we should go to?
Uh,
Which one would our 3 other esteemed party members pick?
It's the one with humans.
I haven't discerned enough about their traits to know their behaviors yet.
Oh, by the way, did we? I guess I should have asked at the time, but did we get rooms that were sized for humans?
You got rooms that are sized the way all the rooms here are. Like a human can stay in them, but if you're a taller human, it's not necessarily going to be comfortable.
Gotcha. That's gonna be fun.
Well, I don't know which one they would pick either, so perhaps we just... the guy we're talking to, is he a dwarf?
Yes, he is a dwarf.
Okay. Which one's the closest one, Sir Dwarf? And we'll go to look at that one, and if we don't find our friends, we'll go look at the other one.
The green candle. You'd have to travel quite a way into the slums to find the Broken Sword.
Alright, well,
you should just flip a dwarf and figure it out.
Your manners are much better than the builder dwarfs around here. Thank you, sir.
So the other 3 of you are having some dinner. Are you having any conversation to go along with this meal?
Yeah. Kind of find out some more about Zeke. What kind of things do you do?
What do you mean?
Like, got any skills, combat tricks, anything that we might find useful?
Yeah, I'm a fairly experienced fighter.
Sounds good. Well, this is gonna be a rough conversation.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there looking sullen and depressed and sipping at my drink.
You all right there, buddy? Partner, you good? I mean, it's obvious he's looking like he's about to like cry in his drink, right?
I mean, not necessarily cry, but he's definitely got like that CW television programming look on his face.
So what, he's got like a charisma of at least 16?
I mean, that's like the default, yeah. But in this case, like there is like an appearance about him that seems unnaturally attractive, but they keep trying to paint that as being very hideous for some reason. So it averages out to, what is it for you, Zeke? Like a 7?
Oh my god, yeah.
Physically speaking, he doesn't look half bad, but like, you know, you get this impression like he thinks he's not very attractive, and like other people keep looking at him like he's like hideous.
You sure you're all right?
Yes.
Alright. I guess I won't press the issue.
Spinks, what are you doing while the two of them are having this conversation, since you're not being talkative?
Oh, I'm just gonna look over at her awkwardly while this is happening.
I am taking a very, very long sip from the cup, from my drink.
Yeah, I'm gonna order some more alcohol.
Alright.
I'll save my personal stash for later.
So are you guys going to sit in silence, or does anybody want to specifically do anything over like the next 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes, while you're waiting for the others to show back up? I guess it'd be like about an hour.
Because we never officially like set on a time or place for meeting up, correct?
I mean, you were supposed to meet back near the entrance at some point, but
okay.
None of you has like timepieces, so it's very difficult to set times based on that.
Yeah, Wayfinder's not going to tell me where what time it is, but it'll shine.
It will.
Like a 5th level caster of light.
It'll shine bright like a diamond.
I will talk to my turtle also, instead of talking to everyone else.
Alright, so Sphinx is ignoring you, talking to her turtle.
Shauna's being adorable.
You got the fun party members here.
Alright, and so Arius and Mal, you arrive to a quiet table. Sphinx is not talking to the people and instead to her pet. And
hey, my familiar. Excuse me.
To them,
yeah.
Don't you dare call Sean any less.
I bought another silver worth of alcohol. Actually, you know what? I'll spend another 5 silver on alcohol.
Yeah, Cassius has like a large number of like steins and tankards and like glasses and shot glasses in front of him. And Zeke, have you ordered any additional alcohol, or are you just still on the first glass?
I have no money, so if he had offered me any more drinks or food, I would have taken it though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll offer some more because I mean I'm assuming you did mention earlier that you.
Yes.
But I'm assuming Zeke is more kind of nursing the drinks than he is pounding them like Cassius is right now.
I need that charisma bonus, damn it! That mummy rock gave me a -1.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so you come in, and that's kind of the sights.
Whoa. Guys, what's going on?
Hey! There you are.
Perhaps
Is both of them there?
Yeah, the two of them come in together.
Next time we should get our story straight and figure out where we're going.
Sounds like a good idea.
You save any alcohol for the rest of us? Seems like you drank the whole bar
He's holding
dry.
up 2 shots for you.
Hell yeah. I'll take one.
And one for you, and one for you, and one for Mel.
Androgynous. But I don't drink.
Androgynous. All right, I guess more for you then.
Yeah, you've passed up with the amount of drinking you've been doing based on how much money you said you spent. You've passed the point of getting a charisma bonus and are into the zone of pretty soon I'm going to be having you make fortitude saves to not pass out on the table.
Oh yeah, it makes the mummy rot hurt less emotionally.
I ready my reflex for when he projectile vomits.
I assume you guys secured rooms for us for the night?
Yes. We've got 3. I didn't know how we were going to do this, if everybody was sleeping in their own room or what's going on. So I got 3 rooms. Yep.
I'll just leave the table and go to the counter and say, hey, do you have any rooms left, or are they all gone?
One of the gnomes behind the counter stops an old man who's walking around behind the counter and back into a room and back and forth for a moment. And he leans in. Rooms? Yes, you need rooms?
Yeah, my colleague over there got 3 rooms, but we need 5.
Oh, yes, that seems like much more educated math. 5 silver each per night. How many nights are you planning to stay?
Can we do it night by night? I'm not sure how long we'll be here.
Sure. Then 5, I guess 1 gold for now.
Alright, I'll toss him a gold.
Okay.
Not my fault. I didn't know if we were doubling up or have multiple beds in the room. Or
while you're explaining all that, go ahead and give me a fortitude save.
I'll kind of point to him like, I think he's had enough. I wouldn't give him any more.
Yeah, I'll take the rest of his drink.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you say, I'm good. Ud.
Oh, I need something to wash that down with.
I scoot a little farther away from him at the table.
You guys want something to eat? Hungry? No? Oh, good. Nobody in this party talks. That's good.
I'm just sitting there studying this scene where there's the hobgoblin's talking to a turtle. The one guy looks like he's just hates himself. The other guy's falling off the table. I'm just I'm a very studied individual, and my instincts tell me my decision on this are correct here. But based on what I'm observing, I need to, in the case that something happens to me in these wilds, which from my studies today, I found that these wilds tend to be very dangerous place. I'm just going to designate, in the event something happens to me, until you return to the military outpost, you are to follow Arius's commands. And I put a little, it's going to be, really sloppy, probably. Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to draw, the magical symbol of the Aeroform military onto, I don't know, your cloak buckle or something. Okay. Do you have a cloak buckle?
I guess I'll use
it
now.
Do you have, a metal piece or something resembling...
Well, right now, nobody had the cloak. There are no military cloaks at the moment. You're not high enough ranking to get a cloak. You just have the leathers. You have the shirt that produces the appearance of the leathers.
But what about the insignia thing that I have?
Yeah, the insignia is like a pin that goes on.
So, does he have any... Do you have any pin or anything on you? Any piece of metal? I guess it wouldn't have to be metal, technically.
I mean, what are you going to scratch into it to try and draw it? I can give you, a silver piece. Will that work?
Pin it to yourself.
We can makeshift something. I'll give you a silver piece and...
What? I guess I could do it on your armor, too.
Do we really need to, do that? Is that a thing that we need to do, or...
Yeah, this isn't necessary.
I just never get to use my spells, so I'm...
Okay, fair enough.
Mal, you make it sound like you're going to run away.
No, I just, I don't know, these wilds don't seem like a place where people live for long, does it?
Well, we need to reforge our tactics, I think.
That would be good, too.
See, what I was doing is I was opening up alcohol trade routes. That was like, loosening them up,
Yes, we
Like,
see that.
I
We
believe
see
you.
that.
like in Muckmack, how you were talking about that, like, see, I'm
And-
thinking ahead of time.
And in the case where
Testing the product.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to know your product. You can't just go in there blind and that the equivalent of mouth blind. You have to know what you're talking about.
Give me a fort save.
Oh yeah, I'll show you a fort save. Yeah.
and
Ooh.
as you say,
Oh, no.
like, you don't want to go in there mouth blind. Bam, out you go.
I grab one of the drinks.
Oh, he's not drinking anymore. Somebody's gonna have to carry him to his room.
All right, I think it's good time to call it a night. I'll help Cassius to his room.
Yeah, I'll also help him.
Hold on, before we all leave, are we gonna Mal, come on, we gotta set some times here. We meeting in the morning? We're gonna set out.
Yeah. I mean, to me it doesn't matter. But I guess for you guys it would be more natural to wake at sunrise. Yeah.
When do you usually wake up?
Oh, I don't sleep very well. The nightmares.
Oh, unfortunate. Well, we'll meet first thing here in the morning, breakfast, and then we'll be off on our mission. And we'll find some time to sell those gems. Cassius, wake up, let's go. And I guess we'll help him up to his room and everyone go to their separate rooms.
Okay. So, when each of you heads to your rooms, Mal, you open the door to your room, and there is, when you walk in, the rooms have candles in them that once you step in, the candle lights up and fills the room with light. This is in everybody's room. As you step in to your room, Mal, on the bedside table, there is a dark black scimitar. The handle is like some sort of ebony in color, and the blade looks to be made out of a sort of translucent, possibly obsidian.
Wait, is this the same one that I have sheathed right now?
No. There is another blade just waiting for you here. Let me give you the description I have. Within the darkness of the smooth exterior of this obsidian blade glows a golden light, seemingly begging for its freedom. The grip looks as a warhammer caught in mid-swing. And that it is projecting like a sphere of light from it.
Alright, I'm gonna do a detect magic check?
Yep.
Or like spellcraft, just to see
You can do detect magic.
the party sheet. I guess I shouldn't check.
Yeah, that's not going to have detect magic on it. Are you turning on detect magic with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the spellcraft check to go along.
All right, so you're looking at it, and it has a lot of magic coming off of it. At the very least, it's got some enchantment on it, but it looks like some transmutation in there. And
are there any illusions?
No, there is no illusory magic. There's a hint of necromancy.
I go and
from that, actually, you can discern definitively, though, it is a +1 scimitar, and it does cast 5 feet of golden daylight.
I reach out and slowly reach out and touch the blade, just the handle.
Hello.
I don't say hello. I just think hello back.
Is your hand still on the blade, or do you take your hand away?
Yeah, I keep it on.
Where am I? I can't see. Where am I?
I believe you've become attached to a material object in the form of a sword.
That's impossible.
I thought that too, but according to many recounts, it is actually quite common.
Who am I?
That you'll have to tell me.
I don't know who I am. I don't know how I got here, and I can't see. Where am I?
I put my hand on the other blade, and I'm like, when you first came into this state, what did it feel like?
I was.
So there's
it's going to be hard because both of these have female voices as well. Okay. So I'm going to try to separate them out. One
now
is
with his harem of scimitars.
I'm like.
One is supposed to have more of a dwarven tone to it, so I'll try to do that as best I can between the two. I was very confused when I first woke up this way. Sight doesn't happen initially. Sight comes later. But eventually you learn how to see your surroundings. Everything looks like boxes at first in blocks. They're all outlined in a way. It's like if you could turn feeling into seeing, if that makes some sense to you.
What was most helpful to you in going along that path initially?
There were people to guide me towards who I was and what I was doing and why I was here. I had people who helped me understand what was happening during my process.
Okay, after that one says that, I'll put my hand back on the other blade, and I'll say, we're all wandering, we're all trying to find our place in this world. I'll do my best to help you find yours. My name is Maldronicus.
Hello, Maldronicus. I wish I could give you my name. But
that's alright. We can figure that out once you're feeling better.
Thank you.
And then I put my hand back on the other blade and I said, by the way, what is your name?
I am Ayun Orvar. And with that, I can... Hold on.
Like that.
I am going to... hold on. I'll type it in here. No. Slightly different. I'll grab it off the sheet real quick. Hang on a sec.
This is great strategy, guys. See,
I'm sorry.
If you have a bad face, you date blind people so that they can't. So I just have my blind swords that, like, they probably think I'm the most, like, you know, ravishing half-orc that's ever walked.
That is its name.
Okay.
And now that you have it out in this kind of dimly lit room, you can tell that this blade also emits a soft blue light in the air around it. Or, I'm sorry, a bright blue light in the 5-foot area around it.
Can I look for signs of... I'm trying to figure out how this other sword got into my room.
Good job, Cassius.
Is it like... Well, he gets, like, advantage on that because he's drunk, right? So he gets to roll twice.
Wrong edition.
So, I don't know. I guess I'll just do, like, a perception check to see if, like, the locks have been fiddled with or anything in this room. I'm not really... Or I guess I'm an engineer, too. I guess I could sort of do knowledge engineering. I don't know what check.
No, go ahead and give me knowledge engineering. That's actually a really good check in this particular case. So yeah, you're looking over the locks, you're looking over the windows, like you're taking a pretty, like, thorough bit of time to identify whether or not there's anything here. Give me a perception to go along with this, because there's two things you could be looking for here. So the locks in the window are in perfect shape. You actually move the window and you can hear, like, there's a bit of noise and a bit of stiffness to the way the window moves, and it would be really hard for somebody to get in and out of here to just drop this in if they, like, came in through the window. Especially since, like, the window doesn't have a lot of room. It only opens so far, as if they don't want people being able to escape out through the window. And the lock is in perfect shape. Like, it almost looks like this lock has very rarely been used. This room almost seems like there hasn't been a patron in it for quite some time. There's a good layer of dust on everything in here except this blade. And there's dust on the floor as well. And it is like your footprints are the first footprints to kind of set foot across this floor in quite some time.
When I checked out a room, did I see a ledger or anything? Or do they just give out rooms and that's it?
They do hand out the rooms. They didn't take any names. So they don't appear to keep track of a ledger here.
Okay. That would be all that I could really do in this case then. I don't know, I guess I don't know how I deal. I put one sword on one side of me, the other sword on the other side, and just lay there like awkwardly in the middle.
All right, well, having a sword threesome this early in the campaign.
I don't.
Is there anything else before bed that anybody else wants to do here?
Nope.
All right, then let's take a short, 5-minute break, and then we will continue. See you in a bit.
Good.